Hello everyone. For this video, I'm going to work with you on your first week assignments for your marketing plan. Okay, so you started this with your first assignment, and so you go through and download the template, the actual writing template that you're going to be using in this class under the 5 Ps. Here it is, marketing plan template. Click it, download it to your computer. And then you'll notice on the assignment page, you have another template to download, but this is just a marketing plan guide. So let me show you those two documents right now. So this is the writing template. Fill out your information here on the title page. And what you have in this template is as follows: your table of contents. And the important elements in this table of contents is, for example, your market overview. If you'll notice in assignment 1, it says you're going to complete your market overview. That does not mean just the marketing overview header, all right? Your marketing overview section comprises of all these other subsections, okay? So each one of these will have to be completed. But for your first assignment, you're only completing these portions under this header and these portions on that header. Okay, so this is for your first assignment. Let me click out of that. There you go. Okay, so these are the expectations for assignment 1. That's only part of it though, okay? And if you download the guide for your marketing plan, what's really cool about this is it gives you questions and it guides you into what you want to think about when you're writing your information. Okay, and it's also, you'll see here that it says week 1, assignment 1. So you know by looking at this guide that these elements, each of these headers, are due during this assignment when you post this assignment. So for assignment 2 now, you have these two, and we'll use a different color so there's no mistaking them. And you have your competition section that you will also be completing for assignment 2. Okay, so you've got a lot of work ahead of you, there's no doubt. Okay, and usually your homework should be anywhere between 8 and 10 hours a week. So I'm giving you a heads up on that. But one thing I want to talk about now is going over your assignments. So these are indeed the required sections for each of these assignments. Okay, so I'm going to just minimize this for now. And also in this template, if you scroll down, you'll see your headers here. Your headers respond exactly to the guide as well as the table of contents. All right, so under here you have market overview. For your first assignment, you will not be completing who will be your clients and who will be your target audience. All right, so that's why they're highlighted. So if you look down, you will be completing all elements under the product definition overview. Okay, and I will explain this in just a second. So for your marketing overview, it has these questions here for you to think about. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. How would you describe your particular photographic market? Right now, this section typically is opinion-based, okay? The only area that you will need to research for your first assignment, you need to use 2 outside sources away from the classroom to apply that research into your paper. So going on with that, the first thing you want to do is you want to complete this portion, your business type and your business name. What type of photographic business? In other words, are you a wedding photographer? Are you a forensics photographer? Are you a commercial photographer? Are you currently active in the field? what are your goals type thing. 150 word minimum is nothing more than a really nice paragraph. Okay, so it shouldn't scare you all that much. Just give me details about either your current business and what you're doing, where you want to take your business, and your business name. Marketing overview. This section here. Of course, it gives you questions to think about, but what I want to do is explain how you respond to each of these sections. Market changes. This is where you want to apply changing trends for photography. Remember we went to the website in the first video on Shutterbug? Okay, so I'm looking at changing trends that will change photography in 2017. So assume that I've already completed my information, but let's look at this. The one thing you don't want to do when you're doing research is copying and pasting from the internet. That is called plagiarism, and that will get you, I don't know, the academic board. I don't know if they call it honor board or academic board or whatever, but that is plagiarism, and it's not a good thing. So what you need to do instead is read, okay? For example, there's a strange dichotomy going on in the world of photo printers. On one hand, Epson offers printers like the 44-inch Supercolor P10000. Okay, so you're reading about all these new changes. Computer World suggested that printing consumes expensive ink, and the only person you give it to can see it. Posting the same material online costs nothing, and countless people can see it. Okay, so there's a point of view here. So in other words, if I'm writing about changing trends, what I need to do down here is hit return, and you want to make sure that anything you type from this point on is set up for Times. Here it is. Okay, so Times New Roman, regular, okay? Not bolded, not italic, nothing like that, regular. And I'm just going to go ahead and start typing, okay? So I'm talking about, I'm just going to start this. I would typically have most of my summary written. For this particular section, you need 250 words, first off, okay? 250 word minimum with research applied. And what that means is reading your information, doing your research, okay, so this is it in a nutshell. 250 word minimum with research applied. What that means is reading your information and applying that information to your writing by using in-text citations. So if I'm coming on here and I'm writing about new changes, new trends, according to Computer World, so I've already done a lot of my writing, but I'm going to go ahead and say, well, according to Computer World, they recommend instead of paying for printing, to go ahead and use social media. Is that what they said? I think so. Where did it go? Okay, suggested that printing consumes expensive ink, blah, blah, blah. Posting the same material online costs nothing. Okay, so I need to change that from social media to online. And paying for printing to go ahead and post online. Okay, now this is where your in-text citation comes in. Okay, first of all, this is according to Computer World, but it is stated in Shutterbug. Okay, so I want to use Shutterbug, and let me see if there's an author's name. Yes, there is an author right here. Okay, Joe Ferras, posted on January 6, 2017. So this is your copyright information. Very important. You need to look at all areas here. So the first thing I want to do is cite this, and I'm going to cite it with the last name of the author. Let me see. Ferris. Okay, that's all I need here. So I'm going to put a period. Period always goes after the in-text citation. So now that I've got this is one of my outside sources, I can still continue to type, and I can even compare and contrast the fact that Computer World says one thing, but if you read down here, let's see, where was it? If you continue reading, there's even another source in here that Shutterbug uses. Okay, so we had Computer World talking about the expensiveness, the cost of printing. And then you have another source here, Ultrachrome Pro, uses 9-color pigment ink system that produces impressive color and black density. Okay, not to be outdone, Canon also offers a 44-inch Image Pro, quite expensive. But anyway, you get the idea. Read your information and then go ahead and apply it to your research. And you'll see that 250 word requirement will be nothing at all. Okay, it's nothing more. 250 words, you guys, is nothing more than 2 good quality paragraphs. But now that I've done the writing, and assuming that there's at least 250 word minimum here, and I've applied research with an outside resource, I have to go down to the bibliography section or the reference area. And you'll notice on your template there's 2 areas marked references. On this first one, just ignore it, okay? Do not delete it because that'll give you an error on your template table of contents. Just leave it there, ignore it. Okay, if I try to explain what this actually is for at this point, I'm afraid I would overwhelm you, so I'm just ignore this page. This one, however, is where I want to post my first reference. So again, double space, and let me see, I just want to make sure that the bold is shut off, and it is. Remember, again, you want to Times New Roman, regular. So the first thing that you want to do, if you look under my response in the classroom, let me go ahead and minimize this a minute. Here it is. The basic setup for any reference is as follows. The author's last name, first name, period. Title goes in quotes. Period goes after the quotes. Publisher is italicized. Period. Copyright date. Period. The word web, since it came from the internet. Period. Your access date. Period. And the URL in those brackets. Period. Okay? So I'm going to walk you through that process right now with the Shutterbug. And then there's just a couple other final steps that we need to take. But no citation programs are allowed in this class. Very, very important. And I can tell every time when somebody uses a citation program. So please don't even do it because you will lose points. Also, Wikipedia is not an accepted resource. Okay, anybody can go in there and change information. Therefore, it is not reliable. Therefore, it is not accepted in any of your classes as a resource. So let's go ahead and set this up. So what we're going to do now is set up our first reference, which is the Shutterbug. All right, now even though we got this on the Shutterbug website, it does have an author. So we list his name, last name first, last name and then first name. So let's do this. Okay, the next thing we want is the titles and quotes. 9 trends that will change photography in 2017. Important here, you write it out just as you see it here. If it were in all caps, you write it in all caps. If it were all lowercase, you write it in all lowercase. Okay? If this were spelled out, the number 9, you would spell it out. Okay, so 9 trends. In photography, that will change photography. In 2017. Quotations, period. Let me just make sure I got that right. Yep, he's got that. The word that also capitalized. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is 2 things. Every single website will have an author. Every single website will have a title to their web page, and every single website will have a publisher. Okay, if it's online, it is published. So at this point, even though I see the word Shutterbug, I want to go down to the bottom of the web page and check its copyright information. Okay, so down here, you see this 2017 Shutterbug right there. The copyright date is 2017. The author of this website is Shutterbug. So, Shutterbug, period, and it does get italicized, like so. Copyright date, 2017, period. It came from the internet, so web. My access date, the date today is May 1st, 2017, period. And the URL for this site, just go up here to the web address, highlight it, copy it, Control-C. On a Mac, Command-C. Use your bracket, paste it, Control-V as in Victor. Other bracket, period. Okay, one final step on your references. Select it, go under Format Paragraph from your menu, and you'll get this dialog box. What you want to do is under Special, you want to choose Hanging Indent, like so. Line spacing is double. Okay, and then say OK. Whoops. Let me correct that. Format, paragraph, sorry. You want to, it's a hanging indent, okay, which means that it should be 0.5, double space. Let me see the thing here. And I want to bring this to 0. Okay. If by default, yours should automatically be set up. But if it's not, this is what it needs to look like. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to say okay. And this is how your reference should appear. Okay. And then as you see, the brackets change and it provides you a link. All right. So that's how your references all should appear. But let's say you have more than one reference. Well, absolutely. You have to have at least 2 outside references for each of your assignments. So I'm going to copy and paste this for a minute. And hit return so that it goes back to the main margin. Okay, I'm going to paste it. Now let's say this was actually Powell. So what I want to do is make sure that my authors are in alphabetical order. So if this was Barrett, like so, all I have to do is take this, highlight it like so, and drag it up here and put it before this particular author. Okay? And remember earlier when I said that every website has an author, even if it doesn't have a name appearing on this. For example, if I chose an article by Shutterbug or whatever magazine, and let's say there wasn't an author listed, but this is the article that I accessed, okay? So you would do the same thing. You would go down to the bottom of the page and look for their copyright information. And in this case, it just happens to be the same Shutterbug information as it has at the top of the page, but you cannot always go by that. All right, as you will discover, the copyright can be totally different than the website you're actually on. So pretend his name wasn't there and this was Shutterbug. Okay, that is your copyright information. And you'll notice that sometimes if it doesn't have an author's name, it could be the same typing that you use for the author and publisher. Okay, so don't get confused by that. It's perfectly okay. All right, you guys, so this will get you started for assignment 1 and assignment 2. And if you have any questions, please, please, please feel free to text me anytime and call me with questions, all right, before deadlines. And as usual, do not call me before 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, PST, Pacific Standard Time, or after 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which means if you're on the East Coast, that's midnight your time. All right? Thank you so much.